Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be cracking open some more Doctor Who miniatures. This time from Warlord Games with the 10th Doctor and companions. These are out of print now and often go for a high price on eBay, but luckily I found this one for a good deal. We're on a bit of a budget here, as you can tell, but I'm sure I can flip them on eBay once painted. Collectors seem to like that. But the packaging on this is absolutely lovely. It even comes in a little slipcase with all the details about the characters. Then inside is the seal of Rassilon, or the Gallifrey symbol, I don't know. And all the characters are metal this time, just like the Missy one we did with the Missy and the Cybermen. We've got the whole squad, including some plastic bases, but they're very thin. I'm going to switch them out for some Games Workshop ones. And we got Jackie. I got her separately, but spiritually she belongs in this set. We've also got Wilf, Bernard Cribbins himself. Space Marines are cool, but have you got the Bernard Cribbins mini? And there's the Doctor himself. Really nice sculpt on that one. Very much looks like Tennant. And we've got Donna Noble. Donna! And Martha. Firm favourite of mine. Got a lot of time for Martha. And last but not least, Billie Piper. And why did Billie Piper become a mini? Because she wants to. Right, we've all opened up. It's time to get them glued down to the bases. But yeah, I decided to switch to some Games Workshop bases because they've got a bit of heft to them. Those really thin ones weren't really cutting it for me. So I'll glue them down. Ran out of super glue, so all-purpose will have to do. Sue me. Or maybe some I told you so moment when they all fall off in a year's time. And once that was dry, I laid down some PVA glue. Back on the branded Army Painter stuff from the basing kit I picked up at the Games Expo. The plan is to dollop a little bit down and use an old scratty brush to give it a good spread and then dip it in the bag of sand. A little tap to make the residue fall off. Then I prime it black, but not the same prime black I went to school with. And start dry brushing them grey to make all the details and highlights pop. Before moving on to some nice coral white. Just to do the raised areas even further. You can take the slap chop out of the man, but you can't take the man out of the slap chop. I don't know what that means. But there we go. They are all primed and ready to paint. I'm going to split it up into 3 videos across the week. So this week we are going to be doing the Doctor and Martha. Seems like a good pairing, especially considering the others. Using some dark red, I make a start on her jacket. A fun fact, the place where I got married was the filming location for the Shakespeare Code. Not the best episode, but it's one of Martha's early appearances. And using some Calgar blue. Caldar City. Deep cut there for the Robots of Death fans. But yeah, getting a coating of that on her jeans. I think they're a bit darker in the show, but we're going to take it down later on with some speed paint. And a little bit of squig orange for the partial bit of t-shirt that's hanging out from underneath the jacket. There we go. For some Catachan flash for the skin tones. Using the tiniest brush I had available. The facial features are very, very small on these models, but the designs are excellent. And I use some Abaddon black for the hair. In theory, because it's slightly watered down, it won't need any more null oil or anything. Then using the Retributor armor, I did the teeny tiny details of her jewellery, which is a necklace and 2 hoop earrings, which you can barely see, but I think I did it okay. Then using some cold white, I said coral white earlier, I was wrong. I said about doing the Doctor's shirt, and then using the same dark red for Martha's jacket, I did his tie. And then some Cantor blue for his suit, the trousers and the blazer. Before moving on to his jacket, using a leather brown from the Army Painter War Paint range. This is about 7 years old, so I had to give it a good shake. But that shade of brown was just perfect. Then I switched to a smaller brush for the very delicate bits where it meets the blue. Then using some skin tone from Vallejo. Shout out to FTD models in Coventry for that one. They have a really cool paint selection. The no models, it's more military based stuff and remote control cars, but their paint and accessory selection is second to none, and it's in walking distance. Amazing. Then going back to the Katachan flesh, I set about doing his hair, and that is all the base coats down, so it's time for some washes using some watered down speed paint, starting with the Crusader skin on all the flesh tones, just to really make it a lot more human looking. One day I'll get good at faces, but for now, this is the best I can do. That was day one. The next day I set about using the dark wood speed paint. I gave a nice generous coating to all the bases, returning it to the colour it was before I painted it black, and don't worry about it. And with the remaining bits, I do Mr. Tennant's jacket as well as his hair. And while that dries, we move back to Martha, and I crack open the Tidal Wave speed paint, shake it up and water it down quite a bit. Likewise on the Nuclear Sunrise, which is used on the tiniest bit of t-shirt poking out from underneath the jacket. Voila! And then I crack open the Murder Scene to take her jacket down a little bit and give it a little bit of a glossiness that the dark red just didn't have. It looked a little bit too matte. Then I move back to the Calgar Blue and start dry brushing back over the jacket just to give it a little bit more oomph. And then we're ready to wrap it up. So using some little smatterings of PVA glue, I sprinkle on some grass just to give it a nice earthy texture. No specific planet or scene from the shows, just a nice generic base. Followed by a nice bit of Abaddon black around the rims. And we are ready to call it done. Remember to like and subscribe and stick around for the reveal. I will see you in a couple of days' time for the next couple of Doctor Who miniatures from this set. Here we go.